Okay, Miles, let's move on to the Miami Dolphins here for a little bit. Look, we all know the Dolphins are one of the top contenders in football, obviously up there with the Bengals, the Chiefs, the best teams in the AFC, frankly, the entire NFL. And we know this team has a chance to be special. And one of the reasons they have a chance is because of a lot of really smart moves they made this offseason. But there's one move in particular that we have a story on and one kind of strategy that the Dolphins are employing I think is really smart and has a chance to pay massive dividends to potentially fix one of their bigger weaknesses in 2023.
Yeah, Nick, the Dolphins made a ton of smart moves this offseason. Ton of great free agent additions to this team. I think are going to really help them out a lot. But before we talk about one today in particular that we really like, I want to ask the Dolphins fans throughout history, through free agent additions, who has been added to this team that made the biggest impact that season? Let us know in the comment section below what free agent addition made the biggest impact to the Dolphins throughout the course of that season. Let us know in the comments below. But Nick, let's get on into it. Who has been added to this Dolphins team that's going to make a good impact this season?
Yeah, Miles, let's go ahead and throw up the report. This is from CBS Sports, right? Highlighting what the Dolphins have done and what the impact it's going to be on this team going forward. And the player we're going to talk about today is another wide receiver. This is Robbie Chosen Anderson or whatever he's going by these days. I believe it is Robbie Chosen. But the highlighting here, the impact he'll have for the Miami Dolphins. And there's one Dolphin in particular talking about it. And let's go directly into the report now. All right, from CBS Sports, the Miami Dolphins have two of the NFL's most prolific wide receivers in Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. While both of them were inside the top 10 in receiving yards in 2022, there wasn't much production behind them. No Dolphins receiver outside of Hill and Waddle had 407 yards, meaning there's room for this position group to grow if someone can ascend in 2023. This offseason, Miami brought aboard two veteran receivers, Robbie Chosen and Braxton Berrios, and one of them is catching Hill's eye early. You can never go wrong by adding another speed guy, Hill said of Chosen via SI.com. Him being 6'3", I didn't know he was that tall, lanky, and was able to catch the ball with ease. Hill continued, he's definitely going to help us out in the red zone because he's a taller guy who can run some routes that me and JW, Jalen Waddle, may not be able to run. Having him is definitely going to be valuable. All right, Miles, I think that last part of the paragraph is the most important part, talking about the red zone and the impact Anderson or Chosen can have. Excuse me. I'm curious what your thoughts are on Miles, but before I hand it over to you, I want to remind everyone to stay tuned to the end of the video to hear a word from our partner of today's video, and that, of course, is Neuro. They've got a lot of great products to give you a fast and easy boost of energy. Make sure you stay tuned to the end of the video to learn more and to get access to our special discount code. But all right, Miles, I'll throw it over to you now. What do you think of these comments by Hill and just the impact Chosen could have on this football team?
Yeah, Nick, Chosen was really, really great, especially with his time with the Jets. I think that was when he was most notable. This guy was really impressive to me because he was consistently putting up 700 plus yard seasons, 5-6 touchdown seasons. 2018, 750 yards, 6 touchdowns. 2019, 778 yards, 5 touchdowns. 2020 was kind of his big year, 1,096 yards, 3 touchdowns. This guy has been a really dynamic playmaker, and as they alluded to in the article, I think he can fill that role a little bit better as that niche guy that fits the other two receivers on this roster because they're all fast. Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, and Chosen Anderson, all very fast. But what Robbie Chosen has that they don't is what Tyreek Hill said, his height. 6'3", that makes him that valuable red zone threat. I think he can add a lot of dynamicism in the red zone to this team, and I think Tua is going to love to have a target like this in specific passing situations. Don't you think, Nick?
Yeah, and you look, if you look at the numbers last season, the Miami Dolphins, in terms of touchdowns in the red zone, TD percentage in the red zone, they finished 10th in the NFL, which is good. But when you look at the talent and the offensive mind of Mike McDaniel, they should be up there in the top 5, right? You have anytime you have two great receivers, solid tight end. I know Gesicki's gone now, but last year they obviously had him. Decent enough offensive line, good running game, smart coach. You should be in the top 5, top 3 in terms of scoring touchdowns in the red zone. And I think one of the problems that happened with the Miami Dolphins, right, is that just because as fast as they are and they can score from anywhere, when you get in the red zone, right, you run out of real estate, and that can really hurt this team going forward. And the data, if you look at Tua's numbers, support it too. If you want to go ahead and throw up our second picture, Miles, this is a tweet from Warren Sharp highlighting completion rate inside the 10-yard line. He mentions all the top quarterbacks there, or all the starting quarterbacks rather in the NFL. Tua actually is a little bit below average with only 50% completion percentage. Look, we know Tua is accurate. We know he's not going to miss people in the red zone. I just think the windows get smaller with these faster receivers. Having a big guy with Chosen's frame, I think, is the perfect remedy to this because it's one of those things, right? If you're big and strong, you can out-jump people, out-physical people in the red zone. Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle don't really have that ability. They can use some quickness, but then, even you eventually run out of real estate, right? I think this is really highlighting what Chosen's going to bring to the team.
Yeah, Nick. And I think what you brought up in that red zone position, having the height, that's what they did. They lost Gesicki. They bring in two guys they bring in 2 tight ends specifically that kind of fit the mold of what they're looking for. All right, they got the speed. These guys might not be as good of receiving threats, but you look at Smythe, 6'6". You look at Croft, another guy 6'6". So they're adding the height.
Point.
They're giving themselves really, really good red zone targets because we all know they got speed and Wilson, Mostert, Hill, Waddle, Anderson. They want height in the red zone. That I think they're kind of doing roster construction to build a specific kind of team to build on where they're weak. And that was red zone completion percentage inside that 10-yard line. They're giving Tua the tools that he needs to be really effective right there.
All right, Miles, we would like to give a special thanks to our partner in today's video, Neuro.
That's right, Nick. And I want you to go with me on a journey really fast. I want you to imagine this. It's 4th and goal in the big game, Nick. Your team is relying on you to make the big-time game-winning play. I know you've been in this situation before, Nick. The stadium is roaring. The clock is ticking. The game is on the line. But if only in that moment you were able to have some Neuro Gum. Neuro Gum will help you stay concentrated, and it gives you a burst of energy without a nasty crash.
That's right, Miles. Neuro has thoughtfully curated ingredients and does endless lab testing, which means that you can reach the right state of mind safely and consistently. That's the most important part. It gives you a clean burst of energy and focus without the jitters of coffee or any of those other energy drinks.
That's right, Nick. And if you click our sponsor link in the description below, you can enjoy energy, calm, and focus whenever you need it.